I have not spoken on camera to all of you in more than a week. And the reason is I was robbed. And it took me a while to figure out kind of how that fit into a YouTube channel about being a nomad and travel. Hang on. Because it was painful and it was awful. And I wasn't sure how it fit into kind of a conversation about beautiful beaches and living for $10 a day in Mexico. So here's what happened. I flew into Vancouver from Cabo and walked into the storage facility with 12-foot fences and barbed wire at probably 8 o'clock in the morning, and stood there blinking my eyes, trying to process what I saw. And 3 vehicles were completely torched. Mine was not, but it took me a minute to realize that the entire box on the back of this vehicle, not my bike, which I found amazing because it's a Trek Dumani and it's an expensive bike. The bike was still there, but all of my camping equipment, actually maybe you can see my bike on the hitch in the back. I'm not sure if you can. There you go. All of my camping equipment, the box, probably about $1,000 worth of stuff was gone. And it appears that the man who is now under arrest, I don't know if it was a mental health issue, but probably took my stuff into an RV that then exploded. I'm guessing because propane was on board. I had propane in mine, and I'm sure the RV had propane and maybe gas, and those exploded. So I stood there in utter disbelief, and then was informed that it's okay, I can address my insurance company. If you've been following along for the last several years, I'm about to approach the 4-year anniversary of the car accident that took my towable camper and my Pathfinder by an uninsured, unlicensed driver in a head-on collision. So dealing with my insurance company didn't seem like a really fun idea. And I haven't edited or done anything about what I call my modest motel tour across Canada to get back to Ontario, because I have to get my free healthcare from the Ontario government. We're only allowed to be outside the province for a certain amount of time, and I also have to return for the rules associated with the insurance on my vehicle. And I also have to go back to deal with the insurance company that has been a problem. I also sound probably pretty sketchy to you because since I was on a plane, I'm not feeling that great. So I am in Saskatchewan. I got to see 2 friends yesterday in Calgary, Alberta. Drove across the Rockies. I'll put some pictures in here. That was a little harrowing. I wouldn't be driving in Canada in March if I had a choice, but I don't. And I do have what they call mud and snow tires, so the vehicle was not a problem, except it's a little lighter because I'm missing all the stuff in the back. All that to say, I didn't record anything other than some of the views that I was seeing across the Rockies, because I just didn't know what to say. I kind of had this idea that van life or nomad life was all about, look at the pretty beaches where I spend, $10 a day and $2 for fish tacos on a beach, was what you all wanted to hear about. And then I kind of realized it doesn't actually matter what you all want to hear about, because you can unfollow me if you like or unsubscribe. What I set out to do was give you a realistic idea as to what nomad life is about. Some days it's $2 fish tacos on the beach, and other days it's being robbed. So I am very curious what all of you think who are in this life about the good days and the bad days, but I decided that if I'm going to continue doing this, I'm going to share with you the bad days. And it was a really bad day when I realized I have none of the camping equipment that I would need for this summer, spring and summer. I can't camp right now because it's too cold, but I do have to be back in Ontario in about a week, but it's going to be 2 days. And it's just the reality of the situation. And so I decided to share with you the reality of the situation. It was just utterly shocking, truly, to walk into that compound after flying late into the night to see my stuff gone, but also see other torched vehicles and realize that other people lost their rigs entirely. And, you know, we all know that our rigs are not necessarily going to be insured for the amount that we need to live in them. And it was crappy. So on this drive across this part of Canada, I've been thinking about it a lot, and I thought, you know, if I'm going to give you a realistic idea of what this life is like, I need to give you the good, the bad, and the really, really ugly. And I'm also wondering if any of you have stories that you want to share about dark days, because it was a really dark day. And, well, living for cheap in Baja, Mexico, in a rental car was fun at times. It was also expensive. I didn't anticipate the rent-a-car being that expensive, but it was, because I didn't have my own rig with me. And I just thought, if there's a reason to have a YouTube channel about the realities of being a nomad, that I should do a good job of sharing with all of you the really difficult days and losing the stuff that gives you the ability to sleep in national parks and across Canada, the United States, and Mexico is a hard day. Then I would share that with you. Tompkins, Saskatchewan. That's where I am right now. There's one house and one gas station, but I have enough gas to get to where I'm staying for the night, which is another really cheap motel, because I can't sleep outside. It's minus 1 degree Celsius according to my car, and I do not have heat in my car, and I apparently no longer own my electric blanket. So he didn't break into my vehicle. So for those of you that know, I still have my EcoFlow and I still have my Bluetti. I have my fridge and I have my bed. That's about it. So I'm not in a position where I can camp at all. And my solar panels, which were under the bed platform. So those I still have. Oh, Tim Hortons. Next stop. So I just wanted to share with you that's why I haven't created any new content in probably a week. You're probably still seeing some of my Mexico stuff because I delay it, but I have not recorded anything since I was robbed. And I'm going to attempt to edit something that gives it some context as to what it's like to live on wheels and have half of your stuff stolen. But I really want to hear from all of you. I think A, would help me, and B, maybe help me understand what it is that you want to hear from me, because some days are awesome. I mean, you know, Christmas Day on one of the most beautiful beaches on the face of the planet, and then other days where you're doing an inventory of the things that have been stolen from you and you're not feeling that great because you got a cold on a plane. I should have worn a mask. But, coulda, shoulda, woulda. A lot of things I coulda, shoulda, woulda done. So I think this chapter, as I go home to build out a van starting in about a month, is going to be pretty real about the life that some of us lead and how it's not always great. And I would really like your feedback on that. I'm fine. I feel sorry for the people that lost their homes on wheels. This is a home on wheels. But I didn't lose the entire thing. I just lost a trailer box on the back. I still have my bike. My dog is safe. I'm trying to count my blessings. So that's the update as I drive across the prairies in Canada to get to my home province for some administrative stuff. And I would love to hear from all of you. I'm okay, and I'm counting my blessings. But that's not to say it wasn't a real kick in the shins.